ultimately, it's about the kids. It's not about us.
Montgomery County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Welcome everybody to another episode of Voices of Service. Today we have an extremely special guest with us, Officer John Johnson from the School Traffic and Safety Section. Thank you so much for being here with us.
It is my pleasure. I thank you for inviting me to this. I know that we're going to talk a little bit about what I do.
Yeah.
And it's my passion. Oh my gosh. I have been in the School Traffic Safety Section now for about 30 years.
Wait, really quick, before you say, so you've been there for 30 years.
Yes.
How long have you been with the department as a whole?
On December 8th, I will have been in the department 38 years.
38 years.
Are you the senior officer right now? Who's the senior officer right now?
In my unit, I am.
No,
on the
in
department?
the entire department. We used to keep track of this. Like forever it was Jay Cox, right?
Right.
All right.
I think I'm probably within the first 3 or 4.
Okay.
Because I know that John Green and a couple of other folks.
That's right, John Green.
Yeah.
Another great guy that we're going to have on the couch there.
But yeah, oh my gosh, this has been the best job ever. In my life, I have only wanted to be 2 things. And first was to be an officer in the Army, and I was able to do that. I was there for 6.5, almost 7 years, and I loved it. It was a highlight in my life. And the second was to become a cop. And this has just been the best. Now, the thing that I find interesting is, as we were going to college, all of my family that had gone to college decided that they were going to become educators. And they looked at me and they said, "Don't you want to be an educator?" And I said, "No, not even." So I went the route of going into the military, and now I came to the department, and after almost 8 years, I'm here. And I get it. To have an impact in some of these kids' lives is just absolutely amazing. You know, I sat down the other day and I tried to figure out about how many kids have been through the program under me for the last 30 years, and it's a little bit over 68,000.
That's
And
68,000
absolutely.
students that you have that contact with.
Yeah.
And so, sorry to interrupt you, but your family said, "Don't you want to be an educator?" And wow, technically, you're not. In so many ways you are, because you're in the schools. How many schools do you have under you?
I have over 55 schools in my 2 districts. I have the 5th and the 6th district.
Okay.
And it's kind of hard to put together sometime because everyone wants lunch, and I only have so many slots for that.
Yeah.
So I get with them and we figure it out, because ultimately it's about the kids. It's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about us teaching them to be leaders in the future.
Right. Well, I don't want anyone to be confused, because we're talking about you in the schools. Like we've created a mystery now.
Right.
Right. So we've created a mystery with what is it that you're doing. You're not a CEO, community engagement officer. You're not.
That's correct.
You were never an SRO.
No, sir.
Student resource officer.
No, sir.
All right. So what is your program?
Okay, we administer the AAA, the American Automobile Association Safety Patrol Program.
Okay.
So I am responsible for teaching about 2,200 kids a year in traffic safety, how to keep their friends safe. And we run a safety patrol camp in the summer that teaches the leaders of those safety patrols to, how to run meetings, how to inspect posts, and things of that nature. It is the best job in the department. And it's probably one of the biggest kept secrets, because no one knows exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they do now.
Right.
Right. No one all our parents that are out there, all our teachers know. Like my daughters, both my daughters were 3 daughters. They were all so proud to be patrols.
I know. I
Right?
like it like that.
They had a fantastic time. Went to camp. One of my daughters even taught at camp. Right?
Yes.
They just had a fantastic time, and they get the opportunity up there. I say up there. It's up in a mountain.
Yeah, at Summit Lake, up near Mount St. Mary's University.
I was like 10 minutes late from picking her up afterwards. I got to hear all about it. They get to learn leadership, and that's huge for young folks, right? Because there's not, I don't know, what other programs are doing that at that level?
Not very many.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we take these kids to camp, the elementary age kids, but it's not just for them. We also take about 40 counselors. At least that had been the number in the past, and it's going to be a little bit less now. But we would take them, and I would teach them how to be leaders, because we're just training everybody to be a leader in the future because, quite frankly, we need good leadership.
Absolutely.
And, I tell the kids that they follow in some great footsteps because we've had a number of presidents of the United States
I was just going to say that. Okay.
were safety patrols, and we have a number of governors and senators and athletes and Supreme Court justices.
Who?
That are,
Now I'm intrigued. Give me some names.
Bill Clinton was one.
Okay.
Goodness, put me on the
I know.
spot.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, well, I know that Biden was. I know that, gosh, why can't I think of his name? The peanut president.
Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
Jimmy Carter.
He was a West Point grad
West Point grad.
and safety patrol.
And it started with safety patrol.
Yes, it started in a little classroom, a lot like the ones that I go to every day, and I tell them, and the kids sit there so intently. I mean, it's like they're sponges just soaking all of this up.
Right.
And the enthusiasm that they have, not just at camp, carries over to the school year, and they get back and they are just on fire to do what we've trained them to do. And the program works because we have had a number of kids save the lives of their peers and the smaller kids at their schools.
And so how do they do that? Is it with the traffic safety portion?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, about 4 years ago, we had a young lady at Strawberry Knolls who was out on her post. It was in the parent drop-off loop, and she saw this little toddler had gotten away from his mother, and he was walking out into the car rider loop.
Oof.
And there was a guy in a large Dodge pickup truck that almost hit him. The driver of that vehicle never saw him.
Yeah.
And there was a teacher that witnessed the entire thing, but she didn't have time to move, much less react to call out the safety patrol's name. But she saw what was going on, and she reacted and pulled the kid back to safety.
Wow.
Well, she was nominated and received the AAA National Life Saving Award.
Sure.
And when I questioned her about, well, what happened? And she said, Officer Johnson, I was just doing my job. And that's true. But imagine what that felt like to the mother of that little one, because this was going to be a tragedy of epic proportions.
Yeah.
So, but these kids they're so enthusiastic, and that's why I love the program. Me being in this program for 30 years, I know my wife has said, well, honey, isn't it about time that we do something else?
Don't even.
Not just yet. But it's the kids that keep me energized, because these kids can think outside the box, and they know how to take care of their responsibilities, and they do it gleefully.
Well, I know that, and as you alluded to, Chief, they're so proud to be part of this program. I know my son is a proud patrol, and when he received the oath and he had to come home, I mean, we were going through it methodically because he needed to know it the next day. He did not want to wait until you guys came back. He wanted to do it the next day, and he did. And he was so proud, and so did his best friend. And now my daughter needs to go through it, so I need you to stay and not retire. But I know it's something, that leadership, that just courage and that confidence that the program instills in them is incredible. So thank you. Thank you for
I
that.
just had a flashback. I was a safety patrol.
Were you?
I had forgotten all about that.
Oh,
Back in Pennsylvania, I was a safety patrol.
Really? Okay.
I had completely forgotten about that.
Well, we had another assistant chief that was a safety patrol, Betsy Davis.
Yes.
She was a safety patrol back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I always tell the kids as in my initial sit down with them. I say, I don't know who you guys are going to become in the future. I could be looking at doctors or lawyers or teachers or rocket scientists. And initially I made fun of that until I had a couple of kids that came back and said, Officer Johnson, I'm in aerospace design. I said, well, I guess I can't use that anymore. But, I was out shopping, I guess about 5 years ago, and I heard Officer Johnson, and which was kind of unusual. I was in my regular clothes, and I turned around expecting to see a fifth grader, and I saw this young lady that was about 22, 23 years old. And she said, Officer Johnson, you probably don't remember me because I was a safety patrol for you at Gaithersburg Elementary. And she said that if we worked hard, good things would happen for us. And I said, yes, and I still tell these kids that. And she said, well, I worked hard in middle school and high school, and I got a scholarship to go to Princeton.
Oh
and I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to hear. And that's exactly what I want to tell other kids.
Yeah.
And she said, but I'm graduating in May with honors from my college.
Wow.
And that just, that's better than money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Absolutely.
And I've had other kids come up to me. So I know the program works. It's just something that we need to continue to nurture because these kids are going to do amazing things.
Absolutely. And look, and I know it's not just you, there's a team of you.
Yes.
And I loved visiting the camp, and I loved watching the mayhem of sending my kids off to camp. That was the other neat thing. Number one, it was my daughter's first stay away camp, right? Mm-hmm. And then when she went back to be a counselor, it was her first paid job, right? And all of those are tremendous experiences, and you and the rest of the folks in school safety are making that happen. And really, again, it goes to the influence that good people can have and make a difference, and you've done that.
Right.
And I got to tell you, well, you're honor guard now too. I can't even, but JJ's honor guard. Him and I would be on.
I'm just a newbie.
She's a newbie.
But that's okay. We
okay.
all have to start someplace.
That's
Exactly.
right. She does very well.
I know she does.
But the thing that I love about JJ is how gosh darn positive. I don't think I've ever seen you in a foul mood, which is tremendous.
I try not to get that way because that's counterproductive.
Sure.
And there are so many people that see me. I want to make sure that everyone has a good encounter, even if it's something that's adverse.
Right.
Because that's just who I am, and that's the way that I was raised.
Right.
And by the grace of God, I'm still, just trying to keep the peace and just trying to do my best every day, because these kids benefit, and that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Right.
My motto for school safety is it's for the kids. It's not about me anymore. It's always been about them.
Well, that's amazing. And last tidbit about JJ. I love talking with JJ. Beautiful voice. Sings the national anthem.
Incredible. But I know a secret about him.
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh.
So
I'm nervous.
he has an incredible voice, and
Yeah.
as you say, he's always positive.
Right.
I didn't think he ever got nervous,
Yeah.
but he has shared
I get
that
nervous
he does
every
get
time.
nervous, right? Even though he doesn't look it, that he gets nervous, he'll forget the words. Am I allowed to say that?
Every time.
Okay.
Every time. You will notice, if you watch me when I go up to the podium, I will have a bulletin of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And inside that
I
bulletin
started looking,
are the
but
words.
you're always so calm.
I've never heard you miss.
I've heard you sing many a times now, and it's always spot on. I would never have known that. But when you shared that with me, it actually gave me kind of a reassurance that it's okay to sometimes not
I'm
feel,
human.
to doubt ourselves. Right, exactly. Maybe that's what it is. I didn't know
Right.
that you're human, right? But
I was going through the internet a few years ago, and there was this officer that was singing at a government event, and he forgot the words. And from that moment on, I said, I want this never to happen to
Yeah.
me.
Right.
So I am ongoing. If I'm wearing my cap, the words are in the cap.
I saw. Yeah.
So
I'm sure you put that same detail in teaching these kids.
Oh, I try to.
Yeah.
I want them to know, and I want the counselors to know, they make a difference in someone's life every day, and they should never underestimate the impact that they can have in someone's life.
Yeah.
Because goodness knows they have had an impact in mine, and I love it. That's one of the reasons I'm still here. When I get up in the morning, I don't just, I've got to go to work. I ease into it, because I'm older, enthusiastically, because I want to see what these kids are going to do next. Mm-hmm. And there are really some amazing kids out there. I applaud the parents that have really been the force behind their lives.
Amazing.
Well, she's already said you're not allowed to retire.
No.
So that just.
Well, that takes care of that, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So I can go home and tell my wife this
Yeah,
evening,
please.
forget about leaving
And when you
in
tell
May.
her, when you tell your wife that, say that Chief Frank said nothing about that. It was all Cassandra, not me.
We just need
Can
a
I
little
give
bit
her
of
the
time.
number?
Yes.
I'll break the news to her. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Awesome. We're going to have a whole nother year, correct?
I can't commit
I
to
want our
that.
community to see.
She wants that on tape.
You, look, I know you want your kids to get the whole JJ experience, but I mean, the man's.
38 years.
Well, no. 38
Who did you
years.
get to 40?
38 years. Plus, how long in the military?
Almost 7.
I mean, you don't look a day over 49, so bless you.
Thank you.
But, I mean, okay. Because I have to sit on the couch too many more times, yeah, you've got to.
I've got to stick around. Stick around
Stay
here.
for another year.
Okay,
Awesome.
I'll tell the wife that. Break that to her this afternoon.
Oh, wait, I inserted myself in this. Never mind.
You did.
Never mind.
Well, thank you again, and thank you guys for being here. Until next time, stay safe and stay connected.